I'm an Accordion Player by Jerry Nicolato. I'm an accordion player and I do it loud and proud, like my father and his father before him. There are those in life who will do almost anything to avoid being mocked, ridiculed, and labeled different. Others have learned to proudly embrace their uniqueness and individuality as badges of courage. Accordion players tend to be among the latter group. The accordion experience, just like the instrument itself, is a very multifaceted affair with components of emotional and psychological winnowing, replete with endless accordion jokes and cartoons, mostly provided by relatives and friends, sprinkled with a healthy dose of significant life lessons, guaranteed to prove beneficial. I was only 8 years old when my father, a World War II veteran and Purple Heart recipient, started chauffeuring his eldest son, 70 miles, round trip each week to the accordion studio. Why? To ensure I would have the opportunity that he always just dreamed of but never realized. The ability to decipher dotted notes on a page of sheet music, instantly transforming them into elegant, harmonic, musical tones. And so the weekly ritual began, no matter the weather condition, rain, sleet, or snow. My father had as much determination to accomplish his life's mission of having his oldest son become an accomplished accordionist as had served him in surviving 3 amphibious combat beach landings just 20 years earlier. A determination that was ingrained in his and his ancestry's DNA. With military discipline, I was mandated to practice 1 hour daily, 1/2 hour dedicated to grueling, ascending, and descending musical scales, and the other learning 1 page each week of an obscure multiple-page accordion classical piece. Titles like Dark Eyes, Dizzy Fingers, Nola, and The Sharpshooter's March. This was more than the brick and mortar of my musical foundation. This would prove to become the process by which I would overcome many of life's obstacles. When I made enough progress and my musical ability was deemed proficient enough to satisfactorily play a few songs from the traditional Italian songbook, it was time to start playing professionally as a father and son accordion duet. Obviously, the 1-800 child abuse hotline would still not be invented for many years because at age 10, I found myself playing my accordion with Dad from 9 at night until 1 in the morning every Saturday. Our duet played this regular weekly gig in an Italian resort, a very large old house providing overnight accommodations and recreation for guests visiting from New York City for the weekends. Each night before we started playing, the owner would walk up and ask in his broken English, "Hey kid, you eat your polenta tonight, kid?" After the gig, my dad was paid $40 cash and I would get a large Dagwood-sized salami sandwich on fresh Italian bread. My dad would proudly showcase my improving talent to everyone and anyone that he came into contact with. It got to the point I regretted any company visiting, for I knew I would be commissioned to play the accordion. One time, Dad dragged me to the local barbershop to perform a song or two for the customers. It was one of the most humiliating and embarrassing moments of my young life. But the word no seemed the only obscenity deemed unacceptable by my father. Life seemed to continue in this fashion in those earliest years. The Lawrence Welk Show was being televised across the country. The star of the show, the gifted and talented accordion player, Myron Florin, wowed audiences every week, flawlessly performing some of those same classical accordion tunes I mentioned earlier, including his hallmark, Lady of Spain. Then suddenly, on February 9th, 1964, a somewhat obscure and different band of 4 from England appeared on The Ed Sullivan Show. I remember seeing that show on the family television like it was yesterday. At least 2 things immediately struck me. The first, the band members' haircuts, or rather lack of, and secondly, the overwhelmingly hysterical reaction of the mostly female studio audience. What I wouldn't fully realize until much later on was my musical journey, as I had known it, had just taken a hard left turn towards Geeksville. and I would never ever be asked to play in a rock band, no matter how talented I became, for many decades to come. For there was no accordion on the Ed Sullivan stage that night. Then things worsened even more only 5 years later, with another profound musical event which occurred in a place called Woodstock, about an hour and a half away. No accordion appeared on that stage either, and I would forever be among the collateral damage. There's no question my character has been strengthened through adversity and challenges related to the accordion. Despite not being invited to play in the local high school rock band unless I converted to Hammond B3 organ, another door miraculously opened. Shortly after graduating from high school, I learned of a soloist musician roughly 10 years my senior who was packing in hundreds of folks 5 nights a week, Tuesday through Saturday, at a very popular local restaurant, playing top 40 hits on the accordion, accompanied by an electric drum machine. That's right, the accordion. I didn't find out until recently that just like that band of 4 from England, he couldn't read a note of music either. Amazing. Propelled by this new vision of new possibilities, I became determined to change my direction, and my solo career took a giant leap forward. At the same time, technology in and around the musical performance business, including accordions, was readily advancing, and I developed a lust for music-related technical equipment. There was an accordion named the Cordovox, a pseudo-Lowry organ originating out of Chicago that became most popular. I played the 3rd generation, the Super 5, which came out in 1971. Later, around 1986, musical instrument digital interface, MIDI, accordions were being produced and popularized. Many more years later, lighter, reedless accordions would eventually hit the market, as well as wireless accordions. At the same time, music itself was changing, becoming more diverse. The original Lawrence Welk show eventually went off the air, and after many decades, younger generations who were still in the market for something unique and different saw the accordion differently than their parents, unaware of the historical events that had made the instrument all but extinct in American society. Plus, the new and improved digital accordion with all its enhancements surprisingly turned out to be particularly suited to meet the needs of a soloist performer, equipped with the latest and greatest arrangers, sequencers, MIDI, and audio players. Ironically, despite all the electronic improvements now available, acoustic accordions have been appearing more frequently in many popular rock bands over the past few years. Some Hammond B organ and keyboard players are occasionally playing an accordion for at least a few tunes during a performance. Accordions are becoming the new logo for Americana enthusiasts. I put myself through college playing the accordion on weekends and post-college, and I supported myself and my wife for at least 3 years until I finally got hired in my field of study, not music. Even while we raised 2 children, and I worked a full-time day job, I continued to play on weekends for various events and venues. I've never stopped playing in some fashion, not always professionally, for over 5 decades. What I lack in natural talent, I make up for with my many years of experience. Like the accordion itself, I am experiencing a late life resurgence. I'm retired from my day job, so now I can play music anytime I want. Mostly popular, familiar Italian-American, easy listening and dance music at a local Italian restaurant. I'll play Michael Jackson and Andrea Bocelli hits, sometimes back-to-back, followed by a roaring sing-along to Piano Man, or in my case, Accordion Man. But more importantly, the accordion has always opened many doors and been the catalyst for meeting many new friends. The skills I learned playing the accordion and the associated challenges of diversity has been instrumental in shaping all aspects of my life in many more ways than anyone can even imagine. I have persevered and now stand proudly before you while squeezing out your favorite tunes. My mission, improving the listener's state of emotional well-being. I enjoy providing folks of all ages a temporary reprieve and oasis from the troubles of this life through music and song. On occasion, I still encounter one or two who still roll their eyes and smirk upon learning what my instrument of choice is. The greatest pleasure for me has become watching their transformation as soon as they see me performing. Suddenly, they are overtaken by a tidal wave of excitement, and despite trying to contain themselves, sometimes start playing air accordion in total abandon. Before I leave you, I'm compelled to share one cautionary note. Accordion players almost always have an accordion handy, and we know how to use them. So unless you want to hear us playing Feelings as a polka until your ears bleed, consider carefully your initial reaction next time you are confronted by someone who says, "I am an accordion player." Dad has been gone now for many years. He taught me to play from the heart. I still wear the accordion shoulder straps he wore in his last accordion, so he's always with me when I strap them on. He's still very proud of his oldest son, and I look forward to the day when we will make music together.